Robert, thank you for being on this episode of AFA Today. We're coming from Yellowstone. Let's talk a little bit about the event and how it went and your perspectives on things.
Yeah, for sure. This is a great chapter. And Sherman, you could tell his effort matched the results. Top notch. I am disappointed that some people missed, how excellent this event is. And so I want to encourage everyone else to jump in the room.
I would totally agree with that. I thought one of the things that we shared with one another is what a missed opportunity this was for folks. Even the vendors that were here, we had a full room last night, and there were still lots of empty chairs that could have been filled. One of the things I really liked what Sherman did is he really recognized the volunteers, and he really recognized the sponsors that made this whole event possible. It was really well done.
Yeah, you could tell. You could tell he understands what excellence is. He understands energy meets energy. His daughter was greeted everyone with a smile. He modeled exactly what we teach and learn. And it was really great that the vendors were in the room to support each other, and they were leaned in and learning. And if our vendors and our members or our contractors are learning together, then we'll never outgrow one another or outpace each other, and we can lean on each other to ask for clarity. And so he did an awesome job, and it was a really comfortable room last night. The steak was great for, I think it was 60 people.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So
it was awesome. So when we think about some of the lessons that people got as they departed, how do you think are some of the ways that they'll be able to do new things in their businesses?
Yeah, my hope is that they just do one thing, because there was a lot of information, and if everyone just wants to do all of it, they'll probably end up going nowhere. But I think the common theme between yesterday and today is that you've got to care and connect with people. Every single part of Tony's 7, now 8 strategies has to do with people. Yep. And we did the leadership in a condensed form, and you can lead people, you can't lead software, right? And I think the biggest takeaway is if you're struggling to work with people, or you don't like it, or you want to go back where you had less people, you should have been in the room today.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that I left with, all of those perspectives that I definitely share those, but one of the things that I was inspired by your conversation and in Tony's presentation too, is this idea of inspiring a shared vision. This idea that once you're very clear about what you stand for, and the values piece, and once you're very clear about where your organization is going, how it's much easier to sell that and bring that to other people and get them engaged. And so that was one of the things that I thought was kind of a consistent theme through all of the education, from Tony starting yesterday to you and me to .com, and then to you finishing up today.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, because you can't inspire people without a clear vision. And if you think about the military, we ask people to run into gunfire, but the vision is so clear they're willing to do it with an open heart because they're serving such a bigger picture. And so, yeah, you're exactly right. And even with .com, they painted the vision of what AI is going to look like, what the marketplace is going to look like. So everything was actually about vision.
Yeah. So you touched on this just a moment ago, but I want to reemphasize this because you said the words that I thought were so cool. This idea of modeling how an event should be run, Sherman knocked it out of the park. Sherman, and I will say the other volunteers, because he was very gracious to recognize the other people on his board who had executed this. But I'll tell you, if people wanted to know how to run a great event, this was the event they should have been at to see.
Absolutely. And you know what I think about Sherman getting on the microphone. At the time, there was only about 8 people in the room, and he could have just done away with the mic. He could have thrown out a script, but he still acted like a professional, and he leaned in if there was 1,000 people in the room. Because, at the end of the day, we will fill this room. If it's not this year, it's next year. And he gave the people that attended that experience that he desired. And so he's incredible. And so I want to actually touch a little bit on that, because Daniel Brown had identified that a big part of being president or when you sign up on the board is that you are putting together events. So you have to have a passion for connecting people and laying out an event. And if you don't know how to do it, but you have a passion for it, come find somebody like Sherman who's done it for 15 years.
Or Daniel.
Or Daniel, yeah, he's.
And the Carolinas folks that ran a great event, and the Pacific Northwest people. I mean, we just had a succession of great events all over the country that were in these tight regions to bring people together. And I think the way to kind of capstone this conversation is that this idea of getting engaged, what I love about people leaving this event is how touched they were, and how this connection between people and encouraging people to be connected is really kind of what makes this event special. It is great education, it's great food, it's great camaraderie, but it's this idea that people can come together and connect with one another at the heart level.
Yeah, and I think the people that show up in this room, I mean, they are not competitors. I mean, they're cheerleading each other on, because they all have the like-minded deal as how can we make an impact in the community, in our industry? I want to learn what I don't know, so that way I can be a good steward and everything like that. And so I saw lots of friendships formed, or ones that maybe walls or silos that we needed to break down, and they left high-fiving.
Yeah.
And
it was cool.
I learned a lot though too. Like, I didn't know that you played semi-pro football, or I mean, just a number of different things that, I'm in a lot of the rooms, and you still keep learning about people. Yeah. And once you understand people, they're a lot less complicated. Yeah. And so just being at these events are fantastic.
So you used a lot of props, and we can kind of close on this kind of concept, but you use a lot of props in your presentation this afternoon. But I have to say, one of the one that was most impactful that I'll walk away from is when you talked about the importance of communication. You talked about the rope, and you used the rope, and you tied the knot in the rope, and you talked about when each person tried to prove that they were right, that their perspective was the right perspective, that knot got tighter and tighter. But if you came about it from a whole different level and said, how do we work together to untie this knot? It was highly powerful. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, the rope represents a lot of trust. And when you pull on both ends, and if you're working with somebody that you care about, you're going to leave somebody defeated if you win an argument. That's right. And if you unravel it, then both people win. It's a win-win. And so I think the rope is a good representation of, if you don't want a bunch of knots in your rope, work to unravel it.
Yeah, it was great. Well, it was great connecting here at Yellowstone. I look forward to the next time that we're together, and thanks for being on this episode of AFA Today.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is going to air before November, but it will be in AFAU, which is a really big room, and there's something for everybody. So if it airs...
Yeah, it'll actually be. I'm glad you did that, because I would have gotten in trouble if I didn't say that. Staff would have been like, you didn't say all that stuff. So yeah, I think the next place where we're going to feel this kind of camaraderie and get this kind of education will be the first week in November in Dallas.
In my hometown, Fort Worth. It's halfway between Dallas and Fort Worth, and I want to open up my doors for anybody who wants to come by and see our purple building. And I've been to several AFAUs, and they're fantastic.
Yeah, they really are. So thank you very much.
Awesome, man.
See ya.